welcome to Top Tier Underground. This is your boy Eric, and this week I'm going to do the intro. Why? Because Kendra's sick, and her voice sounds like she's been smoking cigarettes for the last 60 years. So you get my sexy voice. This week we have the last episode of the Vibe.Digital series, and we're finishing this motherfucker strong. We got Yedgar. Yedgar, his shit is so dope. I was so impressed. This is an all original mix. I'm just blown away by his talent, man. And it's so funny, like when you get to talk to an artist and just kind of get to, kind of feel their personality, and then you get to hear their music, and it's just like, damn, this is like a good representation of you. Art's just so cool like that. So I hope that you enjoyed the Vibe.Digital series. I certainly did. I mean, just the music that these guys are putting out is just so cool and unique and beautiful. And I feel like I learned a lot. And I just got to meet some really passionate artists that are super focused on their craft. They're driven, and it's really about the art. And I love seeing that. So before I get into this interview, I just want to thank everybody for the support. We have had some pretty good numbers lately on all the platforms, but they definitely could be better. So I would love it if you would share the podcast. We're not charging any money, but we do put a lot of work into this, and we do it because it's fun. It's fun to talk to artists. It's fun to get their music out there, but we need your help in order for the podcast to grow and get it so someday this can make some money. Just share it on the platforms. Give a little shout out. You know what I mean? Also, I just want to thank my homie Kevin Gear. He's doing some graphics for us, and also he is hooking us up. So he's basically a sponsor, and so give him a shout out with us. This dude works hard to help us out, and his shit is also dope. Now, if you guys have any questions, if you have any artists that you want to hear on the podcast, hear interviewed, shoot me an email at toptierunderground@gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. Next week, I've got the homie Segra. His shit is dope as fuck, and we talked for so long about so much dope shit, including the struggle with alcohol abuse and how the music scene tends to go that direction, and how difficult it is to, get it together where you can do your art without having to be chemical dependent. We don't need to get fucked up to have fun. So stay tuned for that. Once again, thank you guys so much. Love ya. Peace. All right, I'm here with Yedgar with the Vibe.Digital crew. So, what's up, homie?
Just chilling, man. Taking it easy today. Having a nice day off.
Yeah.
Enjoying the music.
Nice. And you're up in Canada, right?
Yeah, that's right. Up in Edmonton. It's in Alberta. It's fucking cold.
It's cold here, too. How cold is it up there?
Well, in Celsius, I don't know for Fahrenheit. Well, the thing is, it's so cold right now that it doesn't even matter if it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. It's at the same point, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
So it gets to minus 40 with the wind and shit. It's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. I think it's.
I don't know what it is
in Celsius, but it's 10 or something right now here. 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's. What is that, negative 20 or something? Or
it might be around there.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know the conversion too well.
I don't either. I'm a stupid American. They shouldn't even have, we have all these silly measurement units that don't vibe with, any other country. I don't really understand in the United States. We just like to fuck everything up. Because you guys are on metric, right?
Yeah, we're well,
Yeah.
we're like the rest of the world, you know. It just
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, this has nothing to do with music, but so cool. Well, I'm stoked to get you on. I've talked to the other 3 guys that I'm interviewing for Vibe.Digital. I've had a really good conversation with all of them, and I'm really stoked to have you on as my last.
yeah,
So,
I'm stoked to be on as well, man. Thanks for having me on.
yeah. So, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got lined up with those guys and all that?
Wow. So, well, I'm sure they've all spoken to you kind of. I'm like the fourth one on about this topic, but I'm sure they all kind of talked about the wave scene and how it kind of started up on
Yeah.
the internet and how we all kind of met each other separately,
Right.
like
So
just
I've heard
through
everybody's
SoundCloud and stuff.
individual story. So, but I haven't heard yours yet. So,
So yeah, like I met Fumes, Just Connor, Jedi. Like we all met like online through SoundCloud, kind of randomly, just through the scene, reposting and hearing each other's stuff. And then Fumes kind of was the one who's like, "Yo, I'm gonna make a label," and he wanted all his homies in it, and that's kind of how we just formed together as like Vibe.Digital, Voltron.
yeah. That's cool. So, how long have you been like kind of working with them on sharing music and all that stuff on the web? And have you
So
played any
me,
shows in the United States yet?
so me personally, I'm a late addition to the Vibe.Digital team
Okay.
because well, yeah, I don't know. Fumes asked me if I wanted to join kind of the podcast, so I kind of just I've only done one podcast, but I got
Mhm.
another one coming out
Nice.
February 24th, I believe,
Okay,
around
so
that date.
this is going to come out after that. So,
Oh, okay. So
so you're
check that
telling
out.
me and nobody else. I'll be sure
Check
to check
that
that
out,
out.
guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, for that, I'm pretty new, but I have done a show with the Vibe.Digital guys in the States. I
Oh,
came out
cool.
to Chicago last year, and
Yeah.
we had a little Vibe.Digital showcase there. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And I played a show in Seattle 2 years ago as well. That was fucking sick. Shout out to the Aether Seattle guys.
Edmonton isn't that on the eastern side of Canada?
It's like Northwest.
Oh, is it? Okay, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like I'm in northwest, like I'm in North Idaho, which is close to Seattle. I'm like 4 hours away from Seattle, so I don't know how far away you are from Seattle,
I
but
I think we're a little bit east of you guys, but we're like way up north still,
okay,
and we're like on the west part of Canada still. So we just
okay,
say Northwest. I don't know.
gotcha. That's cool. I've only been up there a few times, but I really want to go back. I want to go to Banff really bad.
Banff is sick, dude. I haven't been in a long time, but you go up there and there's like the hot springs, and you just chill out in the mountains. It's so nice.
Yeah. So okay, so you played a couple shows in the States so far. And has that been with the Vibe.Digital crew both times, or just did somebody else bring you out from Seattle?
Yeah, for Chicago, Vibe.Digital crew brought me out. Shout out to them again. Like that was amazing time. When I was in Seattle, another crew brought me out. They're called Aether.
Okay.
They do a bunch of like wave shows and like bass music and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, those dudes are super chill. They're they're onto some cool stuff right now. You guys should check them out if you're listening. Go check out Aether Seattle also. They're
Dope.
fucking sick.
That's sweet. What about in Edmonton? Like, do you play shows around there? What's the scene like up there?
So in Edmonton, I've played one show in Edmonton with Future Roots. That's like the Edmonton bass music label / collective. There's a kind of a scene going on every month. There's like grime and dubstep shows and like stuff like that. Wave music's kind of on the low here, but there's a lot of wave homies out here. Like you have Sorcery, you have Giant Ibis, you have Fast Wolf,
Is
and then you
Sorcery
have
in Edmonton, or is he just in Canada?
he's from Edmonton.
So
These
do you
guys are
guys
all
like
from Edmonton.
you guys hang out? I
Yeah,
mean,
we hang out.
oh, that's cool.
Venice is in Edmonton too. We
How big
got
is Edmonton?
it's not that big, honestly. It's not
Okay.
that big.
Yeah, I feel
It's
like
like
such an American right now because I have no fucking clue about Edmonton, but um, it's like I always think it's kind of funny how much we live in a little bubble here. Like we're so unaware of the rest of the fucking world, you know? But
Yeah, I guess like if the only way a lot of Americans know about Edmonton is through hockey because of our hockey team. If they
right.
watch hockey, which is
Yeah.
not many Americans.
Yeah. So how like is Edmonton is like it's kind of like it's not it's like a state basically, right? It's not like
It's a city. It's a city.
oh, it's a city
Yeah.
of Canada.
It's
Or
yeah, the state, which we call provinces.
right, yeah.
The province is called Alberta.
I sound like such a fucking idiot right now. Yeah. Okay, cool. So Alberta is
Okay,
like
we'll learn some geography here. It's
well,
all
what
good.
about BC though? Where's BC?
BC is the province immediately to the west of Alberta.
Okay, so BC is also a province in so Canada. Okay, I got it now.
Yeah,
Cool. So do you go over there often?
I haven't been to BC in a long time, but I would love to go because there's some homies out in Vancouver there, and I would love to go just chill with them and collab, maybe have
Cool.
a show or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vancouver's super chill.
Yeah, Vancouver's
Also,
got a pretty good scene, right?
I think they've got some shows going on here and there. I know I have a bunch of other friends there that do like other types of music. Like I have one friend out there, he does a lot of techno and house, and he has like a really cool label there. It's called Normal's Welcome. They do like parties and stuff. It's like
Cool.
underground kind of.
Nice. So what made you get into Wave then if Wave isn't all that common up there? Like is that just kind of like what your production just kind of developed as and then all of a sudden here you are?
So I kind of started making trap beats, kind of half-timey shit around 2013, 2014. But I was kind of always on the SoundCloud bubbles of like all the random shit going on. And I met Sorcery. He put me onto a lot of wave music. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of just the sound that I wanted to go towards. But it took me a long time to like learn how to do a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
So it took me some time, but that's kind of the sound I was aiming towards. And then it eventually started being called wave music and whatever. And then
Right.
we have all these different types of wave music and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of cool how that happens. You know, it's like
when it happens organically, it's nice.
yeah, it is like with drum and bass. You know, there's like drum and bass, like how the roots started, and then all of a sudden, like where it's at now. You know, I'm a big drum and bass head, so that's kind of
Oh,
like
you should definitely come out to Edmonton. That's like there's so much drum and bass out here. People love drum and bass.
really.
Yeah, like
Is there
Future
some?
Roots does a lot of drum and bass stuff.
Yeah, I
That
know. I know. I've
the
heard of
Edmonton
Future
collective.
Roots. I'm just lacking on how I remember Future Roots. I feel like there's a producer, a drum and bass producer that I like that has been affiliated with them. I just can't think of who.
Is it Jake Roberts?
Oh no, but I know who Jake Roberts is. But
Shout out Jake Roberts.
yeah, so cool. So how long have you been producing then?
Oh man, I've been pretty well. I grew up like learning how to play piano and guitar, so I've kind of always been doing music stuff. But
Right.
producing, I downloaded FL Studio in like I think it was grade 10 or grade 11 maybe,
Cool.
and I kind of just been screwing around with it since high school. So that was like 9 years ago.
What made you
But
do that?
I don't know. Like I kind of always wanted to do some DJing and production. When I first downloaded it, I was like trying to make hard style or some shit, like some trash. But
Yeah.
and then eventually I started like I bought some. I think it was like a Newmark, like DJ turntable thing. It was like a piece of shit, and I would like practice on it.
My first decks were
And
Newmark CDJs, and they were like I think they lasted me like I bought them. I think I bought them new, and they only lasted me maybe a year, and then they started having all sorts of like actual like actual like electronical errors like with the software.
like latency issues. And stuff.
Latency issues, or it would just start like looping randomly or something, and
I totally know because that's exactly the same shit I had, and then I ended up buying like other stuff, which is good.
What do you use now?
Well, I still have a Newmark, but I have a Newmark. I have a Newmark NS7. It's kind of like
The turntable ones.
Exactly.
They have like the needles and stuff on them. or not the needles, but the nipples.
Yeah, with the little vinyl slip
Rotorized
pad thing.
platter. Yeah, the motorized platters. Yeah,
But
I have
I also have CDJs, but I have like really old ones, so I have to like burn CDs when I screw
like what
around.
1000s or something, or
They're 800s.
oh yeah, yeah. I used to have the 850s, which they still had a USB drive in them, but they're like the old school 850s. But yeah, I really want those fucking new Denons though, dude. Like with the motorized platter CDJs. Have you seen those? They're
I've
like
seen Denon CDJs, but I don't think I've seen the new ones that you're
dude,
talking about.
they are so next level. They're like I have always been like I mean ever since I got rid of my Newmarks and got CDJs like through Pioneer, I've always had Pioneer, but I'm like almost like teetering on the line of thinking of getting these fucking Denons, So I don't know. I'm like nervous because I really like Record Box, and I like that. Like pretty much any show that you go and play is gonna have CDJs, So all you need to do is drop in a flash drive. But if you have Denons, then you have to like download Record Box and their version of Record Box and like have like switch everything over, and then you're using a new system, and you know what I mean. It's kind of Pioneer owns the market.
Yeah, it's true. They have the hype behind them as well.
Yeah, I really like the new fucking Denons though. They're so sexy, and they have the motorized platters on them, but they have like really good integrated software. You should definitely check them out just to check them out and geek out on them. They're not that expensive, man. They're like $1,200 a deck. If CDJ came out with those, they'd be like $2,500 a deck. So, but
I'll check it out next time I'm at my local music store.
am I selling you on this? Should be sponsored by Denon. But yeah, so cool, man. Well, tell me a little bit more. Like, did you start getting into Ableton later on, or are you still in FL?
So I've always like stuck with FL. I've been introduced to Ableton by a bunch of my friends. Like I have it installed on my computer. I just don't use it. And I tried to learn it once, but I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm so comfortable with FL that it kind of was just like, why am I gonna learn all this shit again?
No,
but I did see there's some new updates for Ableton. I saw that came out. Those look really cool. And like FL offers stuff that's similar, but it's not the same. So there's pros and cons to both.
There's pros and cons to everything. Anything that you write music in, there's gonna have pros and cons, like Logic or Reason or Ableton or whatever. It's just I think it's kind of funny how tribalistic it can be with fucking production software. People are like, oh, you're not an Ableton? Ableton's the best. It's like, dude, as long as you're doing it, who fucking cares?
I'm open to learning new stuff, but if I have a way to do something already and I'm comfortable with it, like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it that way. Because at the end of the day, you can just record using like your iPhone mic and record a song. And if people like it, they'll like it. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter
totally
what you use to do it.
I concur. What VSTs do you use?
So like up until quite recently, I've been using pretty much just stock FL VSTs. Because there was a point a few years ago where I just downloaded a bunch of crap and I was just overwhelmed with all these plugins.
Yeah.
And I just said, if I can't even learn how to use the basic ones that come with the program, why should I even be trying to use any of these other ones?
I agree.
So I ended up deleting all of them. And for years, I just used like stock ones like Poison and like Groove Machine Synth and it's like Triple X Oscillator. Those are like the most basic freaking plugins, but they do the job. So
yeah.
But recently my buddy came over, Sorcery came over, and he gifted me the magic of Massive and some like Native Instruments plugins and stuff. He installed a bunch of them on my computer, so I'm trying to play around with those now.
Yeah, man. I use Ableton, but I use Operator in Ableton, which is like their standard, stock synth or whatever. And I've always used it. Well, I started out using Massive, then I switched over to Operator shortly thereafter, kind of the same reason why what you're saying, I was just like, okay, I can make sick sounding shit on here, but I'm not really understanding what I'm doing. So I kind of wanted to like go back to the basics. And then like once I got Operator down, now I feel like I can go into anything, but I like Operator, Operator's sick. So And it's the same reasoning. I think a lot of people, like I have a lot of friends that they have shitloads of VSTs, but they're like overwhelmed by it and don't really stick to one, you know, and so they don't, like, it kind of gets in the way of writing music, you know.
Having the slight limitation kind of, it helps me like finish a song, because when I have so many options, it just never ends, and then that's how I
Yeah,
ruin a tune usually, by just overloading it.
totally. Yeah, I agree 100%. So that's cool though. Did you like start DJing in high school, just like house parties or something, just for the hell of it?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't do it much in high school, but I DJed a house party here and there. And then kind of after high school, when I was in like university for the few years I was in university, I DJed parties here and there.
Yeah.
And yeah, like honestly, really small time. And like mostly I would just do mixes like at home and just upload them to SoundCloud or whatever.
I guess what
Nothing
I'm
really
trying to
crazy.
understand is like what has kept you into this for so long, because like most people, you know, like they'll start playing shows and they live in a city where there's like shows all the time and they're around a bunch of producer homies, and it seems like from the sounds of it, it's like you just kind of got into this and just stuck with it for a long time, you know.
I just love it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I just like the mixing part is whatever. I kind of stopped DJing for a while. Like there was like whatever. It just kind of fell off my radar of things to do, because I produce more than I DJ for sure.
yeah.
Like I consider myself a producer more than a DJ, because my DJ skills are very minimal. I know how to blend tracks, like whatever. But yeah, when I DJ, I like to have a nice track list selection, whatever. So I like to plan my sets out like a lot, but I wouldn't say I'm like the greatest DJ. We should still come see me if I ever play.
Word.
I'm really lowering my bar.
No, man, I totally understand. I feel kind of like the opposite of you in that way. I started out DJing and I played shows for a long time before I started producing, which was actually a bad thing. You know, it was like a crutch, because I like got a reputation where I was living for being a pretty good, you know, DJ. So I was like getting booked at shows all the time, and then I never really was like driven to start producing
Mhm.
until I went to a show in California and ate shit. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? You know, but it's easy to get stuck in a rhythm, you know? So what do you do for like fun up there? Do you snowboard or anything? If it's cold as fuck, like,
I used to snowboard. A lot of my friends ski. I used to snowboard a little bit, but I haven't in a really long time. Like, I don't really have an interest in zipping down the hill like that when it's so cold. Holy shit. I'd rather be warm. But I do skateboard in the summer sometimes. Like, our nice weather is not very long, unfortunately, up here.
how long is it?
Uh, it's like a couple months, and then it gets like rainy and shitty and snowy again.
Really?
It really depends.
Why don't
Like,
you move?
I don't know. I love this place. I love the people here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I live in the same kind of environment, but it sounds like you like hot weather. So, but you like the people a lot, or?
Yeah, I love the people up here. I love like I don't know. I have like a whole life up here. You know, I got used to it. I was born here, so
Oh yeah, that's cool. What about like, I know this is probably not something that, I don't know, goes well with music, but what about like the political system up there? Do you see like a big reaction to like what's going on in the United States?
to be honest, I don't really pay attention too much to
Yeah,
politics stuff. Like I know a lot of people aren't really happy with our prime minister right now as well. But then
yeah,
there's a lot of people that like fucking love him. I don't know, man. Politics are fucked up.
yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I try not to pay attention to that shit. But over the past like 10 years, you really see a decline in interest from myself
yeah,
in such topics.
yeah, for sure. I know. I always
I
wonder.
still vote and stuff, but like,
Yeah, I just wonder because like, you know, the United States has such an influence on other markets and stuff like that. I just wonder if in those areas if people pay attention to what's going on here. you know, because the United States, like the people in the United States don't pay attention to anything but what's going on here. They don't give a fuck, you know. But
I'll tell you, me personally, I don't pay attention to shit. I just go home and I smoke weed and I work on music and I do my own. And
weed's legal now up there, right?
Yeah, only like flower though. Only like smoking regular weed. Like you can't smoke like dabs. You can't buy edibles.
Well, I mean, but you can just buy flour and make it, right? Or will you get in trouble?
Could technically. I think technically it's illegal, but like who fucking cares, honestly? and the government. Yeah. The government supplied weed sucks so much. Like it's so
really
bad.
Yeah, because doesn't Canada have like some sort of weird thing where it's like state distributed weed?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. But it's all packaged like months before, so it's like all shitty and dried out.
Oh, really?
It just sucks. They need to figure out the system. It hasn't been legalized for that long, so they need to just figure it out.
Yeah, I know. It's that's kind of like a concern I know for a lot of people here, is that this, because the states in a lot of states it's like the state controls the liquor, you know. So I think for a lot of people the fear would be that the state would start to control the weed and the weed would decline heavily because everything the state does sucks. You know. Yeah. But that's cool. I don't know. It's good that it's legal though. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's a fucking plant.
Yeah, finally, like then it's like one less thing to worry about now.
Right.
When you're just out and about on your day.
Yeah. But the police up there are pretty easygoing, right?
For the most part. I mean, if you do some stupid shit, you're like fucked either way, but
yeah.
If you keep to yourself and you're not being an idiot, usually you get away with whatever.
Yeah. That's cool.
Pretty much.
So are you going to be playing anything in the United States like anytime soon? Or do you have any summer plans or anything?
At the moment, nothing planned. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a show in Edmonton here.
Oh, cool.
I think in April, the beginning of April, first week of April, there's going to be a show. A bunch of
a Vibe.Digital
Canadian
show?
wave.
Oh.
There's going to be a bunch of Canadian wave homies. I'm pretty sure the homie Ariel he's the founder of Spectral Collective. If you don't know who that is, check them out on SoundCloud. He's from Newfoundland, I believe. He's going to be flying down for that week. We're going to have a show and hang out and stuff, so that should be cool. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, nothing planned really. No other shows, nothing. I need to get into like writing mode here because I'm going to be working on an album pretty soon.
Yeah.
For this one collective / label. I don't want to spoil, so I'm not going to say anything, but they hit me up to do like an EP release, so I'm going to start getting on that pretty soon.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you handle all your bookings and like your promotion and stuff?
I just kind of do everything on my own pretty much, which is not much. I don't do much, so it's not very hard.
Yeah, I was just wondering because like I think that your music would sound like go really well with some fucking festivals up here. The wave music needs to get into the festival scene more. Like I'm not seeing enough wave artists on headlining bills for festivals, and it's really strange. I mean, like from talking to Brett and Fumes and stuff, it seems like they think that it hasn't really taken off, but I just think it's like, it totally sounds like it has. I mean, just in like from my perception, like I mean that it definitely seems like it has a pretty big following, and I'd be really shocked if I don't see some of your guys' names on bills this summer.
I think it's like slowly trickling its way in. The really shitty thing though is like for me specifically as a Canadian artist to come do shows in the States, it's like extremely tough because I have to do it kind of low key because I don't have a visa.
That's why.
And to get a visa is like super fucking. Getting the visa is like super sketchy and it's just a long process. You have to pay like a lot of money just to apply. So, and yeah, it's just, that's kind of shitty. So it's pretty tough to do shows in the States, which is shitty because that's where most of the shows would be done. Well, and then up in Canada, it's kind of like,
if you get paid cash though, it's all good, right?
Oh yeah, whatever. So yeah, I can like technically like go to the border and be like, I'm just going to hang out, whatever, but it's just kind of sketchy. I don't know.
For sure. I
And
understand.
now I'm giving evidence to people by talking about it.
Yeah, no. Well, you should definitely come hang out, and you should get someone to help you hang out with a bunch of other people. Like, you should get a tour manager and get some fucking bookings going this summer. Because I listened to all your stuff like in the last few days, and it would definitely make booties shake, you know.
Thank you, man. Now you mentioned about the festival thing. It's funny because last night I was like applying to some festivals and stuff, but not like big ones, kind of just ones in my province in Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah, just last night I was applying to a couple. So hopefully we'll see. Hopefully they fuck with it, and
Yeah.
this could be the first year. Even if just one. I just want to play one festival.
Have you never played a festival before?
I've never even been to a festival.
What?
Like a big one.
Isn't Base Coast up there?
Base Coast is it's in BC, I think.
You should probably apply to that one.
I think it's too late for that one, to be honest.
Oh,
I kind of I looked at it last minute. I haven't checked Base Coast. I'll have to check that out. But
yeah,
a lot of the other ones that I saw, like, it was kind of too late already, and it was like, shit. Thought about this way too late this year.
Man, how many hours are you from Seattle?
Like a drive?
Yeah.
It's probably like
Yedgar and Eric do geology or fucking.
I think it's like
geography.
7 to 8 hours drive. I think to Vancouver is like 6 or 7 hours, and then from Vancouver to Seattle is probably like an hour or two. So maybe it's like 8 or 9 hours drive.
Okay. Yeah.
That's weather dependent also. If it's like really shitty weather, it'll probably take longer.
Yeah. I was just trying to get in my head, like, how far up there you are.
I could be completely wrong. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm pretty sure though.
Yeah. That's cool because there's a lot of stuff going on, festival circuits in Washington. There's always stuff going on up there, and I mean, whatever. We'll talk about it later. But that's cool, man. Well, shit. Tell people how they can find your music and find you on socials.
So I'm pretty active on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Yedgar.
Spell
also, it. That's JYEDGAR.
Cool.
Also on SoundCloud, I upload a lot of stuff. Sometimes I upload stuff on SoundCloud that I'll never go to Spotify and Apple Music. So if you want to hear like the new shit before anyone, follow me on SoundCloud. That's just Yedgar on SoundCloud, YEDGAR. Otherwise, my music's available pretty much on like every platform. So Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal if you use that to listen to Jay-Z or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's about. Oh yeah, and on Instagram at Yedgar also. I'm gonna try and use Instagram more this year for the children.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be watching closely. All right. Well, I'm gonna cut this thing out, but hang out with me. thanks again, everybody, for listening. I hope that you have an amazing week. Be sure to follow Yedgar on all of his shit, and be sure to follow us on all of our shit. And stay tuned next week for Segra. I'm so stoked about that episode. I mean, it's not very often that you get deep into substance abuse talk, but we did it. Only here at Top Tier Underground. So give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share. We love you. Later.